Welcome to the February 2024 mid-month Great British Mickey Waffle. And do we have a show in store for you? One that we hope will welcome listeners, new and old, and viewers, new and old, because it's a topic that we actually know doesn't have that much information out there. But actually, it's one that is so special to us as a whole show. For anyone long-time listener, you no doubt remember the very special moment that we actually shared on one of our live shows when Claire and I discovered that we were actually on the very same family magic tour in Magic Kingdom way back in 2011. Well, today we've got two of those who were actually in the photo and were a little bit smaller at the time joining us for the show, but they're going to share their next Disney adventure. And actually this is the most amazing thing, because they are both doing the Disney International program starting this summer, and it is such a privilege, not as a dad or as a mum, but actually to know that certainly for us as a show, we can actually just watch and listen and then just see exactly how this whole process goes through. So before we welcome our guests, this mid-month, I've got Claire with me. Hiya, Claire. How are you?
I am really well, thank you. And you know what? The thing I'm most excited about is this summer, maybe trying to recreate that famous photo with Josh and Morg sitting on the floor in their, in their shorts on the boiling hot concrete. Morgan comparing it to the years on. I've still got them somewhere. Yeah, we could try and recreate that. That'd be fun.
Now that would be a really great idea. And also making sure, now I'm going to reference everybody back to the mid-January show, because I think I left that whole show on that big mic drop moment of talking about Disneyland Paris. And actually Ben's here just to make sure that I behave myself again. But also welcome Ben, and thank you for keeping me in check so nicely.
I'm looking forward to this show. It's like I'm sort of slightly jealous that Morg and Josh are going to be going off to work at Disney this year. I really am. Yeah. My brain's just like, I just really wish I could do that.
I think that's the key thing to this, and I also feel that despite my age, I still wish I could go and do the same thing. And that's such an amazing thing to be able to say that you're going to do, but actually to put yourself in a position where it's actually a reality, and that's certainly for me. I know people have listened to the show and actually lived through what Josh had put up with the past few years with me, but also he now becomes the excuse for us actually going in the summer and actually as if we need an excuse anyway, but it's even better that we can go and do that. So that's the reverse side of it, Ben, as well. So without further ado,
we always have the excuse to book another trip.
Right.
Well, there you go. Yeah,
I'm going to know
why. But welcome, Morg.
Hi.
Disney Employee of the Month for September 2024.
Maybe
I won't be employed then.
No, that's what I mean. they'll be missing you so much.
To see them get past July.
And we've also got Josh as well. Welcome to the show, Josh. And it's good to have you.
It's good to be on again.
Split screen.
There we go.
Split screen. I'm not used to this. It doesn't
sharing his camera.
No.
You're going to get nudged out, Josh.
Stealing his limelight. There we go.
Just like your arm hanging in the picture.
There'd be those times, when Jill's got something to say and Peter won't give her an inch, and it's
Give her any space.
bang.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
Like,
It's like the running gag in Monsters Inc. with Mike's face being covered constantly.
Yeah, right.
Well, like this one.
Oh, dear. Yeah. See, yeah, and it's just like it's exactly.
God,
Right,
can you
so
imagine
I'm
if you
going
got attraction? John, I'm just going to say, can you imagine if you were given the job in attractions and you got stuck in Monsters Inc. last floor for 3 months?
Oh,
That would be rough.
I think any attraction would be there.
We're
To be
supposed
fair,
to do the
Claire. I
Halloween
think
version
it'd
as
be,
well.
Yeah,
You could also, but you could be the cast member who comes up and hands a sticker to that guy for every show.
Yeah, maybe.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you actually have to be totally on cue, wouldn't you? Because what happens if you give the sticker to the person like the other side of the auditorium and you're thinking, I thought it was just that. Oh, hang on a minute. Here's your sticker. No, not good. Not good. So I'm going to start with Morg. I'm busting to know this because it really is just one of those things. Why on earth did you want to do this? Right. Let's start with the basics. Right. Why did you want to go and work for Disney? And it's not an interview.
Well, I was
question,
brainwashed from the age of 2 by Claire into Disney.
Yeah.
And then I was sort of threatened with eviction.
I hope everyone listening knows that he's joking. That's not actually.
I'm more intrigued now. See, now Josh is sat beside me for the recording of the show. Morg is not at Claire's.
No.
So now we've got the fact that Claire's phone will be going up to. Will you stop doing that? So yeah, if you hear Morg's phone going off in the next 10 seconds, you know why.
I'm used to it. It's fine. I don't mind.
I'm safe. She's got to drive 2 hours to get to me to tell me off. So
yeah.
It's still not far enough away. He's starting. You see, he's starting.
I know.
It's not the only reason. It's just because your mum said you had to do it. Because I'm sure it's not.
No.
Yeah.
It's an amazing opportunity just in general. I think to see behind the scenes of the show that is put on for the guests. It's, if you think of it and as a drama student, I would say this, but if you think of it as a massive immersive show that you are a part of constantly from the minute you buy a ticket, you step into the parks, you become part of the story, part of the show, and the actors, the cast members, are there to sort of ensure that it all flows safely and that everyone is safe and having a good time. And having been part of the participant side of it, the willing participant side of it, for so long, it's going to be really interesting to go backstage, behind the scenes, as a cast member for a while and see the stuff that, you can go backstage with Disney and like with the tours and stuff, but actually to be the cast member behind the scenes is going to be a whole different experience.
Well, that's a really good answer. Josh, what about you?
I think mine's probably the stereotypical answer is that, you go throughout the years and you receive so much magic from cast members themselves. And then you receive so much from them and it gives you that impetus to want to go and give back to them and go and create memories for new guests who've never been before and hopefully recreate memories that you've maybe received. And I remember them now from years and years ago, and you want to try and recreate them for other people, so that they can sit here in 12 years' time and go, oh, that was such a good memory I had back then. I have that. So I'd love to give that to other people as well.
Yeah. I
On their
think
own
as well.
podcast.
Well,
You never know, Morg. You never know, and
that's a scary bit.
The next iteration of the Mickey Waffle.
Yeah. Well, it could happen, couldn't it? And I think that's, who would ever have known on you guys on your very first ever visit that it would end like, I'm not saying it doesn't end.
Well, it's not ending, I hope.
I'm never going again to this.
It would culminate
This is the final trip
into just such an amazing experience that you've actually got yourself towards. Because I don't think anyone, when you go for the first time, you don't know you're going back the second time, and then to actually go. And I know Josh has been a few times. I know you've been a few times, Morg. But as that sort of progresses, is there a particular time at which it goes from being just like this is what happens, as to a step at which you go, do you know something? I really fancy doing this.
I think, to be fair, it begins from the very first time you go. And I mean, must have been very young, and you just look at a cast member and you go, oh, it's the dream job, isn't it? You work in Disney. And that's where it begins. The more you go and the more you learn about Disney itself, and the more you for me anyway, you get that urge to want to work at Disney. And I think must have been a trip in about 2015, 2016. And we saw these cast members working in the near where the Mickey's Barnstormer is, or Goofy's Barnstormer even. And they were working in the tent that was there. And just one day I just asked them, and I was like, oh, how did you manage to get this job? And they explained to me exactly the way me and Morg have gone through it. And it sounded something that was doable. And so the dream kind of stemmed from there, really. It's like, if it's doable, then one day when the opportunity arises, go and do it. And that's what we've done.
Ben, there's hope for us, yeah.
Is there a particular you said about it being like a dream and it's a dream job for a lot of us. Is there something particular that you're looking forward to when you're out there? Is a particular role that you'd like to do?
I think just creating memories for people, Ben. I think it's just that is the one thing that sets Disney apart from anybody else. Is you go to Disney and they create this. They create magic, and it's really difficult to explain that to people how they do it, but they have a way of doing it. And if there's an opportunity for us to do that to somebody else and create that magic and the passion that we have and push that onto other people, then that's the dream. You
should watch our Wafflers Wednesday show every Wednesday night on YouTube. That's what we kind of push across to people as well.
Absolutely. You all have that same
time.
8:30 UK time, Claire, yeah, but what I'm saying is actually it's that same impetus that gave us. It gave us that spark to actually do what we're doing as a podcast. And these guys are actually got that spark to actually go and live out that particular dream. And I'm quite in awe of it in some ways. It's
already been quite.
I miss that boat.
I mean, as always, you could be the greeters in the car park.
I think John
the 2 finger points.
I'd be great at that. All the way to the end of the line.
No long.
Take great enjoyment.
Particularly in my Animal Kingdom. Go park it on the 192, mister, because you're not doing this.
You're in Dinosaur 473.
And there's no trams today. Thank you very much.
Goodbye.
140 degrees in this car park. Yeah.
We'll
be there.
Sticking to the concrete today, everyone.
Yeah, your feet and your shoes are melting as you're walking across.
Good.
I think it's been really interesting already, actually, as well, just going off of that. Even though we've not started working for Disney as of yet, there's already been, through the interview process, going to the Disney offices in Hammersmith, there's already been that sense of magic, like being actually in the parks as well. The people we've met have all been so lovely. We managed to wrangle our way into a tour of the first floor behind the scenes in Hammersmith offices and take some behind the scenes photos with Sully, mascots and the like, and seeing the Disney cafe there, which was amazing.
It looked like you'd broken in some sort of storage facility.
Yeah,
it felt like it.
Some
Claire.
cupboard.
It did feel like it.
Yeah, that you'd found some cupboard that had some stuff that you weren't meant to find. Just saying.
It's like it's like the scene in Ant-Man where when John and Mum, you probably won't know this one, but when Scott Lang shrinks in to get into the Avengers compound to steal the stuff from steal Pymtech from Stark, and Falcon's there, just like.
Yeah, no, I still haven't watched Ant-Man. John, have you watched Ant-Man?
Strangely enough, Claire, it's on my. Maybe I'll watch it on the list.
Oh my goodness!
It's one of the things you should watch.
How far through are you?
I'm not even started. No, don't even go there, Morg. It's great because
I was on a show last January.
I've been sharing about this for so long, right? I've been sharing about, and actually, I don't give a stuff about it anymore because actually, by you simply mentioning Marvel, the only person it truly appeals to is Ben. And you mentioned Marvel, and Ben suddenly is like, "Bing! Hang on a minute, he's talking to me." I've given up, Morg. It's just like, yeah, I've done my best, but actually, I didn't really bother, even despite being poorly and things like that. I never felt inclined to put a Marvel film on. But I did watch WandaVision, so I'm quite happy with that.
I think touching on what Morg said as well, before we move on with the interview process, is that you in essence, you were basically just going for a standard interview, and yet they still managed to find a way to put a Disney touch on it, and that is the whole reason why we're here. It is that Disney stamp on everything they do. That's why we'd want to go and do it.
So that's kind of the end bit, right? So I'm going to flip this, because I like doing that, and actually, I've said what made you want to do it, but when and how can anyone apply? So I'm thinking of Ben. I'm thinking Ben's got an opportunity here. Ben will listen to this show, and he'll be like, he'll be on his laptop tomorrow morning. That'll be it, right? I can do this too. So, who can actually do this international program? That's the key bit.
Okay, well, I hate to break it to you, Ben.
He's too old.
No,
there we go. Oh.
No, he's not. He's not too old. If you're enrolled into a university program, Ben, if you enroll yourself into university,
Ben,
you get the opportunity to do it.
Yeah.
The program we're doing is like it's a university program, really. Whereas the other alternative, which is the year long, that is for anybody, as far as I'm aware. But this one is purely for university students. But you can do it.
Am I right in thinking you can do it any point in as long as you're enrolled, or the summer after you finished your degree? Because obviously, Morg, you'll have finished, won't you?
Yeah. It's for the summer of your first or second or third year, as long as you are in full-time education.
The first year one, though, Morg, the first year one's a little bit tricky, though, because when you submit your application, you have to complete your first semester, i.e. your first term, which ends up being a little bit late, unfortunately. So they claim you can do it in your first year, but in reality, it's your second and your third years that you can.
Myth busted.
Yeah.
And do you have to be 18?
There you go. Yes.
Do you have to be 18? So if you were in Scotland going to do a 4-year degree, because they obviously do their Scottish Highers a year earlier than A-levels, first year would be really, that may not be, you might have to wait till your second year in Scotland, because you wouldn't actually be old enough.
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, it's just you have to be 18, and the only stipulation other than you give is that it's your first semester completed, and then you can apply. Which is obviously too late for your first summer of uni, so it has to be your second one.
So of that kind of first application bit, how long ago did you guys actually apply? and that's probably a really difficult question, because in the bigger scheme of things, I'm looking back as to when Josh first applied. It was basically, well, I'll just chuck an application in and I'll see what happens without any expectation whatsoever. So I actually don't think, certainly from my perspective, I can't remember when you applied. It was
June. I think.
Yeah.
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 I think
It's
it opened last
a
June.
long time. Yeah.
And how did you do that?
being there.
How did you know where to apply?
Yummy Jobs. There's a. I'm trying to think what's the best way to describe it. I think they're an agency. That go and are the go-to agency for all cultural exchange programs. So for the
they don't just do Disney, they do
for the summer one, Universal's cultural exchange programs, the other greater theme park area of Orlando, Florida.
They even do other ones. I was seeing the other day they were doing all sorts of different states in America where you could go and be a hotelier or something for 12 months in a random state in America.
Wow.
Yeah. You could go and help run a hotel.
So they're like the agent. You don't apply to Disney directly. You apply via Yummy Jobs. And I love the name of the company.
Yeah. You begin with Yummy Jobs, basically, yeah.
Okay. And that was that must be like 8-9 months ago now?
Something like that.
Where we are now. Where are we? February,
yeah.
It's a long time ago.
Look.
I'm not just looking at
in a way, it's a blur, isn't it? Ben's typing his CV out as we speak. You know what I'm saying?
Where can I go? What can I do? Yeah. I think it must be June. It must have been June.
Take me to Colorado.
I'm having a look.
So that would be 8 months from now.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
A long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so can anybody apply? I know we said you need to be a student. Okay. So let's put sensible hat on here, because although Yummy Jobs, and I love it, like you say, the name of the company is brilliant. It will become this year's biggest known name, because one of my favorite bands has got a CD coming out shortly called Yummy. Just saying, and I'm not being paid for that. But if you don't meet certain criteria, you've got no chance. And I think, I'm sorry to crush people's thoughts at the very outset of this, but if you don't meet, certainly for the, even if you want to get into the US on a standard ESTA, and you wouldn't necessarily be able to go and apply for jobs like this, because the actual screening process is such that you need to know that you're going to actually be able to get into the country.
Yeah.
Am I right in thinking that?
No, absolutely.
I think that's worthwhile people knowing that that whole avenue might not be out there simply before you begin. So
it's even harder.
I'm just looking up the Cultural Representative Program, which is the year-long one, and the requirements are: you have to be 18, hold a valid passport for the UK that is valid for at least 16 months after the program's start date, be available for a full 12-month contract from 2025 onwards, be able to complete in their specified program dates, authentically represent the United Kingdom, have the ability to communicate effectively about their traditions and culture. And
cup of tea.
Yeah.
Twinings. Earl Grey.
Can you imagine?
And demonstrate custard cream.
Chips and gravy.
At this point, I probably won't be authentically representing the UK.
It's a very good point you make, though, is the fact that when we go for our visa application, we have to go through an English speaking. It's not an exam, but more like a test to make sure you can speak English.
Okay.
Just to get the job in the first place. That's also a requirement. I might be okay.
Well,
I might survive. But it is a requirement. Yeah.
Lucky, John. I think
you're about to get in a northern. You're about to get in a northern jag in here, aren't you? That's it.
I was going to say northern, then I decided I was going to go for Scanser, and then I decided, you know what?
Spoiler alert! Claire's going after the Northerners again. That's it.
I think it's still hard to know even what It's still hard to know what they actually look for, though. I think in a particular person, I don't know. I still can't sit here and go, this is exactly what they require in you to become an employee.
When you did the application, did they have questions that they asked? I'm trying to remember. There were questions on the application form that you had to submit as well as your CV.
Yeah, I think they were the generic questions of, are you able to work overtime? Okay. Are you able to work into the early hours of the morning? Are you flexible? Because obviously they'll want help with like cleanup after park closing. Yeah. Depending on the role you're in, and then things like what kind of role would you be interested in? And can't remember whether this was before or after the pre-screening, but there was a list of things you had to rank from a top is what you most want to do, and the bottom is janitorial.
I'm sure there are people who want to be a custodian,
and I'm sure they're very good at it. It's not my thing, but
that came after pre-screen, if I remember rightly. It came after pre-screen, but they'd pre-screened you, but then that's when they shifted you onto Disney. So you moved away from Yummy Jobs for a period of time, and then Disney made their decision on you before your final.
So Josh, I'm going to ask you, because I know that I remember Morgan sitting with his CV and writing his statement, like you update your CV for a job. When you did it, did you update your CV and make it slightly customer service Disney focused in terms of how you approached it, or did you just send in a generic CV?
I honestly, Claire, I thought even when applying, I still didn't think I had a chance of it. I just thought I'll just lob a CV and see what happens. That was generally my
I think you do yourself a disservice there. You actually put in a CV that was your experience of things that you've done in life.
Yeah, but it wasn't a Disney.
It wasn't genned up. It wasn't sort of pushed across with any hidden agenda.
No.
You basically gave them what you actually are.
I think my cover letter was maybe a little bit more Disney-fied, and saying my connections to Disney. But my whole CV itself was just basically where I've worked and standard. Just as you say, generic. It wasn't around. What was your CV more Disney-fied, and then cover letter was generic?
My CV was more, I've done this, this, and this, and this is where my Disney journey started, yada, yada, yada. I've been dragged to Disney many times by my mum.
That's what we went.
Yeah.
That's what I said. That's what I said in my interview.
And did you sign it up? I want to let the magic begin.
They don't know what they're looking for.
See you real soon.
Yeah, no. But that's my point: is you don't have to do anything special with your CV. You just need to make sure it's correct and factual, and
exactly,
accurate. And then you got to write a cover letter as well, explaining just who you were, and you could. You're not going to list your number of trips you've taken and when you did it, but, the fact that you are interested in working for the Disney company, in some way, shape or form is the key, isn't it?
Morg's was very different to mine. Mm-hmm. So that just shows you for a fact that it doesn't matter how you go about it. They will find out you as a person eventually. And that's how I think they work around it. I don't think that initial CV stage is particularly like a cutthroat decision. I think that's more just if you've got the right if you're the right sort of person for them, then they'll kind of get a picture from that, and then you move on down the line.
Yeah.
They'll sort of look for your literacy skills and see whether or not you are actually someone they want to employ and want to take a bet on.
I'm just finding out that to begin with, you're 18 and you're in university. I think that's what that initial stage potentially is, just seeing if you're actually eligible. Otherwise, there's no point in you carrying on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No.
So you've done you did that pre-screening. Then what happened?
You wait.
There's a long
time.
There's a lot of waiting.
I think what was it? We're submitting them CVs end of June, early July, and I don't think we heard.
So I've got
if that was actually successful.
I've got my email.
Was it August? Beginning of August?
I've got the email trail here. No. So it was earlier than that, because I've got the email trail that says, "Thank you for your application. You've been selected to take part in a pre-screening," and that is time-stamped Monday, the 3rd of July. So I think we applied even sooner in June.
Even sooner to that, wow,
goodness me! I think when I actually think you're probably just short of a year from actually
by the time you get there,
that first concept
By the time we get there, it will be. By the time we get there, it will be.
It's going to be over. I think it'll be over a year.
Yeah.
That's crazy, isn't it? Because who knows what you're going to be doing in a year's. But
and that's where that little spark in your head of I want to do this becomes
inspiration.
I wasn't going to do that. See, I wasn't going to
creation.
I wasn't going to take it because I can't.
Yes, you were.
No, I wasn't.
Can't avoid
Mum and I talk bags that at the same time.
My word, John, it's just a figment of your imagination.
But I think you need to show that level of commitment from a very early stage, and that whole thing of if you're going to do this, don't just sort of sit at the side and say, "Oh well, if it happens, it happens." Blah blah blah. You actually need to just be in forever on it until you find out otherwise. And I think that is the key part, because if you go and say, "Well, I might not get the summer off me summer job," or this, don't give them any reason not to give you another step further on that way.
I think, to be fair, probably Morg as well, is that pre-screen was the first time it properly got real. You speaking to someone that actually had the power to send you to Disney. That was the moment where it was someone from Yummy Jobs, and they had the power to send you to the Disney people to then make their decision. So,
right, let's get this absolutely clear. So, you get through the pre-screen, and you get. Is it how many Zoom calls is it? Right, let's sort that out. Is it one?
It's one Zoom call. The Zoom call is the pre-screen interview.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So from that particular point onwards, are you just left completely in limbo?
Yeah, for about a month, weren't we? We were left not knowing.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, the 10th of August, we found out.
Really?
Yeah. So we had the interview, what did Morg say, the 3rd of July. We had to wait till the 10th of August to actually find out.
Okay. So that's that.
5-6 weeks.
That is. Yeah. Good grief. Ben struggled with his job for at least a few days, before putting the reminder in. Oh, by the way, and I think that must be a real, in a way, because it's more or less a year in advance of when you're actually going to be there. That must be a real sort of thing that sort of preys on your mind of this time next year, I could be doing this. However, my current summer job, I might need to put the old singing, old dancing show on here, because actually, if it doesn't work out, I want to be coming back here next summer as well. So you're kind of covering quite a lot of things without really knowing any sort of true detail to this as well. Yeah. So that, I think for anyone going for an interview in ordinary circumstances, that's a real problematic experience. In this circumstance, it must be something that, did it eat away at you, or is it just one of them things you just kind of acknowledge, well, there you go? Because I know what Josh was like, because we kept it really just low key, and we just said, well, look, that's it, it's done, away you go. And just doesn't really matter what happens next. There's no expectation from it. And yet, when you get to August, and then you get oh, by the way, would you like to come for an interview?
Yeah, sorry, I'll make it even worse. I got it wrong. It's not the 10th of August. It was the end of August, early September. I can't find the official date.
Ooh.
Is it 21st?
So the email I've got is the 21st. Yeah.
Gosh, so you're there for like 6.
It was even longer, actually. Yeah,
7 weeks.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I thought it was early August. It's nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Because we were on holiday. We were in America at the time, weren't we?
Hana.
And that's probably the thing though from Yummy Jobs to Disney, that it's like it's handed over to another company to make decision for the next step, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Because then,
so
if I
then
remember right, so what we'd done after pre-screen is they then send you the list of jobs you can get. Then is that when we sent across our CV and cover letter to Disney themselves, and you had to start ticking stuff off with like your actual information.
We started uploading things to to the dashboard.
Yeah.
Uploaded everything, like
So
CV, cover letter,
Yeah.
all that to the dashboard for them to see.
And you had to actually
And that's
pass
waiting
a
again.
check from, you had to actually pass a check from receiving that, or you sending off that information to them actually then saying, here's the list of dates you can actually have to then go and go down for your final interview. So,
God, it's complicated, isn't it? So you've got you've submit your application, then you wait, and then you go through. You get first culling, and then you get told no, you've been selected for a pre-screen interview. So then you have a pre-screen interview, and you sit and you wait for another 6-7 weeks, and then only at that point do they actually send your details over to Disney for them to put everything on their systems for you then to submit more information. I remember this, Morgan, because you were having to submit pictures of your passport and transcripts, and you had to sort out a letter from university as well, proof of student eligibility from the university. Yeah. And we were away. We were trying to do it from America on holiday because you only get a short period of time to do all that, don't you? You get like 5 days. And if it's not, so all of those steps suddenly have to happen. And only then are you actually on the Disney register for consideration. So there's an awful lot going on before that, although there's big gaps in the middle.
Yeah. I think what's not something that's spoken about as well is that there's multiple different systems. There's different systems that you have to upload everything to. It's not just one simple website. There's a dashboard,
you never get
for one thing, application window.
Yeah, and you just have to trust yourself that you've done it right, don't you? Because you never get an email to say, "Oh, congratulations, you've submitted this and this. We've received it."
That is so Disney, though, isn't it? It's just like I'm just thinking, it's just like the Disney IT system. It's just like
goes into the abyss.
And it's just like
they told us. They told this is skipping ahead a little bit, but they told us in the final interview, and they're like, "Oh, we do apologize, but there's 8 different websites that you have to then create an account for to log into to then actually submit information. This, and this." Because we're only at the beginning of it. I think we've only logged into 2 or 3. Whereas then when we actually get more towards it, you then got a separate website for your visa, a separate website for your housing, a separate website for your actual job itself, a separate one for your schedule, and it's going to be.
And they just couldn't do this all on your My Disney experience.
Exactly, Ben. Exactly.
It would keep crashing. It would be anything.
That's probably why they have all different ones. They outsource it.
And
for that
you
reason.
wondered why they found it so difficult to make Magic Band work.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying on this. It's just like nothing talks to each other, and that probably, in some respects, that is probably doing them a disservice, because I actually think the quality of the process between Yummy Job and Disney is actually a real strength of this whole process, because there is a sifting out of people that they deem fit or they don't deem fit. So by the time you get to that interview at the end, what happened there? What was it? What was the bit of, was it an email that basically said, "Oh, by the way, you've got the job," or is it, "Oh, by the way, we want you to come for another interview"?
That was pretty much the email they sent you. An email to say you've been invited to your final interview. You can select your date and times. It's in London, or if you are further up north. See, the problem was for me is I go to university in Liverpool, and the options are London or Edinburgh, I think it is. So you're right trapped in the middle. There's no. Whereas if you're a bit further up north, you go up to Scotland. If you're a bit further south, you'd obviously go to London. And you got to choose your date and your time. But then that is the only bit of information you got from September until, what was it, like 3 or 4 days before
December,
interview date?
The day.
Yeah.
Really?
And the only thing we heard before that before that was the directions of where to go. There was no other information apart from, here's your time, here's your place, here are the directions.
It was purely a case of you turned up on the day and all these people that was it. But it was very much a case you turned up on the day and all these people had been talking between themselves for 2 months, and they got so many different stories twisted that they needed this bit of information, they need to bring these documents, they needed this, or the interview was going to be here instead of here.
People had joined Facebook groups of misinformation.
But there was that little information coming from Disney.
It's just Facebook in general, really.
Yeah. There was that little information.
But I
given
remember
by
us
Disney
being sat in IKEA.
Yeah.
I remember us being sat in IKEA together, and there was a table of people behind us that were going, "Oh, well, I've heard this, I've heard that," and we were just sat there going,
"Yeah." I've got to say, I was really privileged to be part of that whole thing, because actually, doing the job I do now, I'd never ever be able to go down to London midweek and stuff like that. But I was able to do it. So the first thing we had an overnight. I went for a couple of beers the night before. Don't tell your mother. And also the best thing of all was on the day.
Got me nerves.
No, it was like the morning of it, and you go there, and the funniest thing is you go through the main door, right? And everybody who went through the main door was directed to, "Oh no, you've come to the wrong bit. You need to go right the way around the whole of the building." And you'd know when you're actually relying on either Google Maps or you're relying even just on common sense. This was
It was Disney at its finest.
Yeah,
it was Disney magic. That was.
You're not coming in this way, sunshine. You need to go right the way back round there, because the main entrance is for different people.
Yeah.
And I just thought,
I didn't want to do that.
That is just a lovely part of it. It's just like it is what it is, but it's just like you go around this way, and it's it.
Treatments for you lot.
But you they insisted you were all there really early, didn't they? Even if you were on the interview in the afternoon, you had to be there early doors, and that
it did make it a long day for people like me and Morgan. In hindsight, you could have got an early morning slot for an interview, but you get
people
there.
Were having interviews while the presentation was happening.
Yeah, they did.
So
that's not that wasn't a usual thing, to be fair. That was purely for the fact there was rail strikes on the day. And interestingly, I think there was 12. I think there was meant to be about 100 people, and 12 people that day didn't turn up. Yeah, so to wait for these 12 people, they did an interview during that time, but shouldn't usually happen.
So what happens when you were there during the day? So you said there's a presentation. What was that in terms of that for everyone? Just a general welcome to Disney offices, glad you found the door, or was it something? Was it about the program? What was the purpose of the presentation?
It was program details more than anything. Actually, for the first time, it really explaining what the role entailed.
Yeah,
it wasn't just simply, "Oh, you're going to Disney" sort of thing. It was, this is going to cost this much. This is
how much money you need to chuck at Disney before they let you work for them.
Yeah, basically, this is your program.
There is a bit of that, isn't there?
Yeah.
When we give you a job, this is how much you're going to have to pay just to accept the job. Then this is how much your housing is going to be. Oh, and you are going to earn some money.
And that's not including flights or any of the other stuff.
So that's a really important point.
That was they saved all that information to the end. Yeah, that was.
It's like, by the way, this is how much it's going to cost.
Well, no, do you know what, Ben? That's a really important point, because it does cost money. So it doesn't cost any money to apply. But when you get to that point of them saying, if you want to if you're serious about this and you accept the job, you're going to have to cough up. I think it was like $400.
Yeah,
literally. And $440 within a few days of so you can accept the offer, and that pays for some stuff when you get there, and this is what the accommodation will cost.
They also
which comes off.
There's no remuneration for costs for going to London
visa?
or Edinburgh, even just for the interview. Now, normally, if you go for an interview, there would be the opportunity.
You can claim it. Or
that doesn't. This is Disney we're talking about. That doesn't exist.
Yeah. And you have to fund your own J1 visa. So that's £160 to pay $160 for the visa. So there are costs associated with this. Trust me.
Yeah.
I know there are costs associated with this.
But I also think that, and in some ways, you consider that interview day. And at least at that presentation, they put their cards on the table. Is it? You imagine it's a bit like going on a ride, isn't it? And you go into the pre-show, and it's just like there's no turning back now kind of moment. of like you can
Yeah,
either
there's
take
nothing hidden.
you can either
That's
take
good.
you can take that door, or you can go through the other door, and we'll walk with you. We will give the information, and actually, as long as you pay for it along the way,
Yeah.
you've got that. For want of it's probably a wrong description, but you've got that yellow brick road ahead of you where everything is just like dreamland, and just sort of everything that you've kind of built up in your own mind as being, I'm probably speaking out of turn, but I think for both Josh and Morg, one of the biggest highlights of the day, right, was actually getting a Disney lanyard.
That's what he's,
and just wearing your Disney lanyard, which Morg has got on. I hasten to add,
and we got a sticker.
I use
And
a
we got a
sticker
sticker as well.
A sticker.
Yeah.
You didn't have to give it. You didn't have to give it back.
No, we got a
So we had-
sticker.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
had
yeah.
to give
You had to give
the
the ID
piece of
back.
paper that was in the lanyard back.
See,
Yeah.
I've been to the Disney head offices in Hammersmith, and we were told to give our lanyards back. I still have mine. I did. It ended up in my bag somehow.
Why does that not
With my
surprise
ID
you?
as well.
That doesn't surprise me. We were talking
I was
earlier.
not.
You know when you go to a pub and somehow you end up with one of the glasses?
Right.
I'm not sure
I
how it
am-
ends up in the cupboard, but somehow
I
it
can't
happens.
even believe that they thought I was going to give it back. It was like,
Yeah.
you're joking. I'm here in the Disney head offices. That is coming home.
It was, yeah.
I mean,
It was the same for me and Morg.
Yeah,
We were plotting a way to try and keep it, weren't we? Really?
Yeah.
If they were going to take it
Yeah.
off us, we were going to find a way to have it anyway. But
But then we also get a cast member badge in about 5 or so months that says our names on it and everything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm not too
That's
worried
also
about the
good.
ID.
that's never getting sent back. That cast member badge.
The
That's,
cast member badge.
They
I
can't pry
actually-
it from my cold, dead hands.
That's worth the
I'm just
$450
looking on
my
sign
door.
up fee in itself.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's not
If you're-
one from Etsy. It's the real deal.
On Yummy Jobs, I'm just saying it does detail the program costs. So for pre-arrival fees, it's $442 for the participation fee. The embassy is $185. Flights obviously varies. Medical insurance is around $200.
Yeah.
Is that something
Mhm.
you've managed to sort out, or is it still?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Disney, on the day, Disney will sort of give you the whole medical insurance scare. And they say that if you don't get medical insurance, there's a local doctor's pharmacy, whatever, around the corner from Flamingo Crossings, which is the accommodation, which is student accommodation, basically. And they'll charge you something like $50 just to go in there and get an appointment. So they really try and press the whole get the medical insurance,
Yeah.
and then get
It's
the
when they
extra
started
medical
mentioning
insurance
the
if you have
thousands,
extra
didn't they?
needs.
Yeah. They started mentioning the
Yeah.
thousands when they're
So-
like, even if you just need some antibiotics or something, like it costs you this 1,000 amount, and you're like, yeah. They
Yeah.
give you the scare story basically into needing insurance. That's the
But I think that
Which
works
is pretty-
on
not a bad thing,
scale as well, because actually, irrespective of
Put
anything
this into
else,
perspective.
you have to have that insurance.
absolutely.
And I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
just out of even from a holiday point of view, there's no point in going to the States if you haven't got the insurance, because actually you're putting yourself at a massive risk in worst case scenario. But I think for you guys, with you being out there for a period of time, you have to imagine worst case scenario, and just that little payment, see what I'm saying there? Yeah, I've been brainwashed into this whole health insurance bit already, haven't I? But by paying it, you know that you're both going to be safe. You're both going to be covered.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
don't want to be in that position where you're choosing your health over.
Yeah.
And
what it has to be remembered is as well, all these pre-program costs, if finances are an issue, you end up earning back. Disney do pay you to work for them.
Yeah, they're not doing it for
so-
free.
Yeah.
No,
You do
exactly.
get
So
wages.
Disney do pay you. And you do get wages, and from the maths that I've done, you should end up with money at the end of it that can be used, obviously, for groceries and
merchandise
with your 20% off. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not.
Yeah,
It's
cost
a
of a
big outlay
discount.
before you go. It's a big outlay before you go, but
Yeah.
when you come home again, that money should be back in your bank account, and
Yeah.
you'll have memories to attach with it. So
A lot of the people who do these cultural exchange programs and stuff are American residents as well. So
Yep.
these are a lot of the time, these are people who have never lived away from home before and have never done university experience. So
I think that's why, Morg,
us,
though, as well, in them interview questions, when they were asking us, have you
Yeah.
ever lived away from home before? And we're like, yeah, we've gone to university. And that for Americans,
have you
is
ever
very
lived with
much a
people of
different
other cultures?
Yeah, it's a very different lifestyle they live compared to what people in this country by the age of 18 have lived through. So,
yeah, I think that's really important, actually, and certainly I've had a conversation with a few people online and asked the question, because it confused me as to, obviously the Disney College program, which is the version in the US that it's called. They tend to go for between 4 and 8 months. And a lot of them there are a lot of college program cast members, and significant proportion of them have never lived away from home. So I've seen messages from parents of Disney College program cast members who are, within 2 days, their kid is having a meltdown because they don't know how to use a washing machine, or they don't know how to cook for themselves, or they don't actually manage to live alone. Whereas I think you guys are in a totally different position where you've both been away from home for some time now. Yeah. And are completely independent adults that can do whatever you need to do. And so for us, I'm not concerned at all that Morgan's not going to be able to look after himself. Whereas I think if you were 18, maybe hadn't, even for students who've gone to university near home and haven't lived away, there's a whole other experience for going and living in a different country. I mean, that's a really different thing. So it's worth thinking about, actually, in terms of if you're a student at a UK university but you're not living away, it's worth just a thought around how you would feel being 3,500 miles away.
I think that's the epitome of the whole program, though, Claire, is that, certainly from the impression I got, is they want to push you out of your comfort zone. So for me and Morg, pushing us out of our comfort zone is, i.e. working in a completely different field to what we've worked to before when we're out there, or the fact we're working and living in a completely different country to what we're doing now. So for us, that's a culture shock more than an actual living shock. Whereas I think for these American people, that's going to be a living shock to them, and it's not so much culture.
The culture.
It's more of an actual lifestyle change. Whereas for me and Morg, it's very much a cultural change. And lifestyle's going to be pretty much the same, if not more luxurious than what we get now. Whereas the actual culture itself is going to be completely different.
Oh, is it?
Bougie uni. It's maybe
Publix rather than Walmart, is it?
Morg, you need to move up north. Move up north. It's a better lifestyle for the students.
I'm living with leaky floors here. Lifestyle you're living.
Yeah, hopefully there's no leaky shower.
I've got towels on the floor.
Yeah.
No, that's what I was saying. I was saying in America it's going to be more culturally better than here. But
I think it's going to be interesting. I think you're going to learn a lot about Americans that you maybe didn't know. Going back to that. Going back to that day in December. So you had the presentation in the morning, and then you had an individual interview in the afternoon?
Yes.
Yeah. And we got sort of sent into this boardroom of this Disney boardroom where there are obviously meetings held, because they escort you upstairs in the Disney themed elevators.
I know the ones.
One of the
English
parts
people.
of the day, actually.
And you could see out over the Hammersmith station, actually. It was quite nice.
That was very cool.
But they take you up in the lifts, and they sort of shove you all into a boardroom, and they come in and they go, "Who's next?" So it's a bit like The Apprentice or
The Apprentice interview,
something like that. Yeah.
Claude is waiting for you.
Yeah.
The thing was,
and Mickey Mouse in the next room is going, "You're fired."
The people that came to collect you, though, I think it was more of like an awe-inspiring moment when the person to come and collect you actually worked in Epcot and was like, I think the person who interviewed me, he was the custodial manager, and he had been the manager of merchandise in Mouse Gear for the last 10 years. So it was at that moment you walk to your interview and you look at him and you go, I really want his job. That's what I want.
So imagine that
interviewed me
smell for 10 years.
Yeah, the Mouse Gear smell. Maybe that's why he works custodial now. He's all right doing that.
Nose blind to everything
Yeah,
else.
right?
Oh, brilliant. And I think that for you is one of the standout moments, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because did that come up on your interview, or was it just on the conversation you shared with him? Was it one of those, what would you like to do when you get there? Or was it just a conversation between you and him?
Yeah, I think the whole interview kind of, it begun in him just plain and simply asking you, what do you want to do with your life, sort of thing. And I think for those people, I might be completely wrong in saying this, but I think from what I could gather from Disney was they want to create a new experience for you, like a CV enhancer. And if you turn around and gone, oh yeah, I've got this job lined up, I'm going to go and work here, and it might be this big high-paying job, whatever. I think Disney might overlook you and go, and that's not what we're looking for. I think they generally look for somebody who wants that CV enhancer. They want a new experience. They want to be pushed out the comfort zone. And yeah, I think that's where it all originated from. Me asked you and what you really wanted to go into in your life, and I just turned around and I was like, I'm not really too sure right now.
I want that guy's job.
I want his. I want your job. But yeah,
I want him.
I want your job. I want to be you. Yeah. I think that's
another thing that's
around,
quite. Yeah, I think going off of that, I think another thing that's quite interesting about it being a CV booster and using the experience that you get working for Disney and learning from Disney, and sort of talking about that. I think the other really cool thing to know that I mean I didn't know this before going in is that while you're doing your program, the company partners up with Harvard University to offer Harvard level qualifications for your CV in things like communications and other such degree level like subjects that can go on your CV and are recognized as official Harvard qualifications. And they offer those for free-ish. They're part of the fee that you pay when you first sign up.
Morg, I've got to say that bit is completely hidden until you get to the very final part of the process. And once you actually find that bit out, you think, hang on a minute, this is actually something that there's a bigger part to all this. It's not just a life experience. It's not just that, but you're actually getting something that when, I think for the two of you might even be 1 year, 2 years time, 5 years time, 10 years time. But when you're actually putting that list on your CV of qualifications, it sets you out. Somebody's reading that and go, oh my word, that is different, and then becomes a conversation piece within a future interview for whatever job it is to be, and that's you can't put a price on that. That is something I personally feel is you come out of that interview and somebody's got if somebody's listened to you and actually think, hang on a minute, that is somebody who's a candidate that really sets apart from however many people there are, and I think that for irrespective of what the experience is, just go and enjoy what happens in the summer. But that whole thing is something that I think for the two of you, from someone who's I've interviewed a lot of people through the years, and I always look for someone who's got something on the CV that you want them to talk about. You want them to be able to have a real passion for what they're explaining, because you hope that they'll have the same passion for the job that you're trying to employ them for, as opposed to just like just saying, I've always wanted to do this since I was 15.
Just having something different.
Yeah. I think that's what makes it.
Agree with you. I think
that's what makes it part of like a university program. Is it's you go through university as a CV enhancer. This job is like just a continuation on top of that into not only boosting your academic studies but also boosting your just life skills in general. I think that's what that's what it's there to do.
I think it's really important to realize as well that you get out of it what you put in, and that's sort of the main overarching point for me about this whole process is you put 100% of your energy into it, and you not only get 100% back, you get a little bit extra, and that for me is what makes it quite special, and that's pretty much Disney in a nutshell, anyway.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mic drop moment from Morgan.
But that's exactly it. Yeah, but it is so. And Claire, you were going to mention about interviews as well, because I know you've interviewed a lot of people through the years.
Yeah, I think if I saw somebody, and obviously it doesn't matter what degree you're doing, it just as long as it's a degree. And I think even in the field of work that I'm in, if someone came to an interview having done a Disney college program, having done the international program, that is absolutely something I would ask them about. I see you've worked at Disney, and not just because I like Disney, but because it stands out. Because
Claire, I'm stopping you there. It won't be. The first question you'll ask them: which direction do you go in Epcot? That's it.
Where did you work?
Canada.
You're out.
Off you go.
No, you're spot on. You're spot on.
You're always looking for something that's going to put someone at ease in an interview situation, but also try and find out about them, because that's what an interview is, isn't it? You're trying to find out about a person.
You're trying to have that conversation starter,
right?
Just something.
And actually, having worked, I did a Disney college program for 3 months. Wow. Tell me about that. Why did you enjoy it? Did you enjoy it? What did you do? Yeah. So I think, that CV enhancer, that life experience, that opportunity to go and do something that not everybody else, everyone can go and work in a fast food restaurant or supermarket, go and do something different. And I think that's the bit. It's so exciting to be able to have the opportunity to go and just experience that. And that's what I said to Morgan, is just go and have fun. You know what? If you come home and you've got no money left at the end of it and you've spent it all, as long as you've had fun, it doesn't matter. Your flight home's booked. Have the best time and do everything that's on offer, and
bring home all the merchandise.
Don't hold back. Have a great time.
I get 20% discount at the Lego store in Disney Springs.
So do I. An annual pass.
I'm there for 3 months. You're not.
Yeah. Just remember how much space there is to bring Lego home. Just saying, not much.
So more go and have fun, but don't go and have too much fun in order you can't bring it home again.
Well,
but you're going to
be working.
Let's not cut across this. Is actually you're going to be working, and you're actually going to be working hard, because I think that
you are going to be working hard.
That's the one thing I think that you guys are going to turn up. Those who are on the annual program have been there now for a lot of months. Will probably be your trainers, and actually they'll be absolutely shattered, because it's actually they started before Christmas, and they are getting to the bit where they're yearning for home, and it's hit the hot season, and then you guys come in, and it's suddenly like, hey, tell you what, you can do all the rubbish jobs that I don't want to do anymore, and I can see that being a bit of it as well. And I just think you got to, in a way, you prepare yourself, because actually you're just going to do it, because you will, and you're just going to just go, and it doesn't matter if you get the most rubbish job. It's just like, I'm working for Disney.
Absolutely.
And I've got my name badge.
How long did you have to wait before you got the acceptance email? It was, so you were in the beginning of December.
Another month. It was another month.
It was another month, wasn't it? It was January.
Yeah, it was 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah. So we went. Interview day was the 7th of December, and
that's right.
We were on holiday when
it must have been about the 7th of January, something like that.
It'd be around that, yeah. It would have been. It was definitely a month.
Now,
was it 4th or 5th of January or something?
Yeah, it was a Thursday, because we were out in London, and you guys were on holiday.
Yeah, we were away. Yeah,
it was the 4th then. So we were at the
it was Thursday.
Tate.
You were in the Science Museum when it came.
Yeah.
It was like, wait!
Yeah, that's literally what happened. There was like this moment, and everything stopped.
We couldn't scream until we got outside.
Everything stopped for like 10 minutes while Morgan was reading the email, and we were like, what?
Yeah.
And we got
that was the thing. The email they send you says congratulations, and then it doesn't actually tell you what they're congratulating you for. So you have to go and actually
log in.
You have to log in. You have to log into another new website to then go and find out your job, and then sign that. Yeah.
So jobs you got assigned, you know the area that you're working in, but you don't know, you know what job you're going to sort of be doing, but you don't know where.
Yeah.
And it can be
Yeah.
anywhere on Walt Disney World property. So it's not
Right.
just the UK, but then it can be in any park, any resort, Disney Springs.
Yep.
Who knows
Could
yet?
be-
You don't
could be
find that
anywhere.
out for a little
Yeah.
while. So Josh, you're going to be doing...
Food and beverage, quick service food and beverage.
Okay. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
gonna be-
Food and wine.
Busy and
Yeah.
hot.
Who knows? It
Yeah.
could literally be anywhere. That's the thing. My dream, it's probably a bit of a pipe dream, but I'd love one of them little stalls with your ice creams and stuff like that in. Just push it around the
No, I
park
like
on a
that.
day.
Cheeseburger
That'd be
spring
quite a
roll
nice
cart.
little one. Yeah, something like that. That would be amazing.
Mickey
That'd be
pretzels.
all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Cool.
That'd be
I'm
quite nice.
Not cosmic rays then.
No,
Oh,
no,
can
not
you
that one.
imagine? Oh,
No, I could do without
no.
that.
You want somewhere that's got a decent costume.
Yak
as well,
and
I think.
Yeti.
Oh, that would be good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Something like
And
that.
Morg, where have you've got,
I've got merchandising, so I could literally
Ooh.
be anywhere.
but hopefully air conditioned.
Yes.
Hopefully,
Not-
but then I could also be in hotel stores. I could be
Yeah.
Yeah.
in Disney
Yeah.
Springs. I could be
Yeah.
literally anywhere on site.
That'd be cool.
So-
Typhoon Lagoon, you know. Who
Galaxy's
knows?
Edge.
Yeah.
That
that would be.
is that what you're hoping
Dream.
for? You-
That'll Typhoon Lagoon. If I get Typhoon
You should-
Lagoon, I will be there in
Oh,
shorts and a
perfect.
Bermuda shirt,
It'd be
jamming
awesome.
out to Beach Boys all day, sunglasses
Yeah.
on, dipping dots on the break
Well,
time.
you could still get Tower of Terror. You could be in a Tower and Terror merch booth and
It could be.
get that
Yeah,
uniform.
is it, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I think for both of you, I think
I've never done
this
Tower of
is the
Terror,
bit.
so
Oh. Well, so people, you'd have to ask other people, how was the ride? Was it
So,
really good?
so Josh can lead you astray in some of them
Yeah.
and make you
Yeah.
do Tower of Terror. 'cause,
give me false information.
Get you to do Tower of Terror.
oh, it's brilliant! It's brilliant. I've said this. I think I said this in one of the shows. I think when we interviewed Lou Mangello for the first time, and that was it Summer Night Tastic? We were at 2010, which was the year before that photo was taken, and we actually had a annual pass, and we went and we actually did Tower of Terror again and again and again and again. And Josh was only just tall enough to actually do it at that time. But unfortunately, youngest son and mum decided it wasn't for them. So we just kept riding it. And eventually they just closed the film bit off and we just went ride straight through. Back on. Down for the, it was just
Amazing.
absolutely amazing. Absolute most incredible experience. And it doesn't matter what you're doing, it's going to be incredible.
Can you imagine if you both got Hollywood Studios and you were in the Phantasmic area?
That's what I've said to Morg already. I've already said that to Morg. I've already said that to Morg. I'll be with my lemonade cups. He'll be there with the bubbles and glow ones, and
I'll be there with the glow one.
The nuts and the blankets and
I'll be like an air traffic controller.
Yeah. There'd be no chance of getting popcorn off Josh here. Like it'd be up with the arms would be up here and half of the popcorn's flying everywhere. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
That's all that's left of that, but here you go, it'll do.
That'd be very cool if you got.
Yeah. It is.
I mean, there's
It's
so
just
many
it's
different
like, it's
roles.
just brilliant, isn't it? I just think it's the most amazing thing to happen at an age where I think as you know, as two parents and as Ben enviously looking on, as already said, and we're all envious because I think when we were all that age, it was
It wasn't an option.
No.
We never
Didn't even know
there
about
was
it.
no way.
I
that
don't
we
think
could
it even happened
think of-
back then.
I've no idea.
I don't think it was.
It probably didn't when I
I
was.
can't
that
imagine
age,
that it didn't exist.
Well,
Right.
but yeah. Good job Becca's not on the show because Becca will remind us
When it
all
was-
that
When Disney was in black and white, John, is that?
when I was Josh's age, probably
Back when
Back
Before-
Mickey was still in copyright.
Yeah. And look like Steamboat Willie. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's,
exactly.
gosh.
Exactly. I'm just gonna put it out there to you guys, and go and have that most incredible time. What I would like to do for us as a show, is maybe if you can, maybe just before you go, if you can dip into one of either our mid-month or our main month show, and we'll give you a little bon voyage and things like that. So we'll see what has changed. We might have a little bit of a reveal as to what jobs you're going to do, so that anybody who listens, no matter where you listen to us in the world, because we know that there are so many listeners from America, so many in the UK, and so many from other places too. But if you're going to Walt Disney World in the summer, maybe you'd be able to bump into these two. And even if it's just a case that you just go and say hello and just remind them the fact that they were on the Great British Mickey Waffle and you heard them here. And we will send them with a supply of Great British Mickey Waffle beer mats. So if they maybe meet you, then yeah, there you go. There you go, Claire. See, it's all up there, isn't it? But
all up there.
We can share that, and they can maybe go and share that magic that we present to, at least 4 or 5 people every month.
If you want to,
as a
if you want to take
podcast,
them a bar of Cadbury's chocolate or a cup
Bring
of
me
tea,
Jaffa cake.
Right.
If you want Merc, bring me Jaffa cakes.
That's the thing that Morgan will miss most is Jaffa cakes.
I will
Josh,
let you
what-
use the 20% discount if you bring me Jaffa cakes.
Josh, what should people bring you if they're coming to find you? Morgan wants Jaffa cakes. What do you want people to bring you?
I'll have some custard creams. That'd be
Really?
appreciated.
They
yeah.
are.
Oh, yeah.
that's a bit cheap. That's a
Biscuits
bit
are the way
cheap,
forward. Classic
Yeah.
custard
Chocolate.
creams and Jaffa cakes.
chocolate. Yeah.
Just chocolate, or dairy milk chocolate.
Chocolate.
Yeah, American chocolate's rubbish. As
Yeah,
well, isn't
but
it? So-
chocolates, because
Yeah,
he's the biggest
Oh, really?
scavenger
Okay.
in our
Proper
house.
chocolate.
Anything chocolate that
Bring,
goes missing, it's him.
Oh.
what is it? Bring Cadbury's Roses or Heroes, whatever they are. You
Heroes,
can sell them
yeah.
on
Oh
for
yeah,
more.
good shout, Mark.
Yeah,
what-
oh,
I think
yeah.
$20 to Quality Street. Yeah.
That's
If
the
that's
one.
what we pay our rent
Yeah.
on,
Yeah,
that'll be
black
it.
market in
You can see it. You can see it. now,
We'll
Claire.
take a cut of the profits.
So when I'm just thinking about next steps, so you've still got a whole load of paperwork to do. You've got all your visa stuff to do,
Oh,
which
yeah.
we'll cover in a
Yeah.
different show. You get the opportunity to request your accommodation. Is that guaranteed? What you request if you ask for certain thing, will you definitely get that, or could you end up
think
sharing a
it's-
room with someone?
Pretty much guaranteed.
I think it's pretty
believe.
guaranteed,
Okay.
but it's
Pretty
first come,
guaranteed.
first serve. So you've got to
Okay.
be pretty quick on it.
So
Yeah,
the-
as soon as we get the
so
email,
people
you
know,
pounce on it, basically.
there's 3 different kinds of accommodation. They're all in
Yeah.
Flamingo Crossing, and the first
So-
kind, the cheapest kind, is 2x2, which is
Yeah. It's a shared bed. You share a room with another person.
there's a
share
divider
a part.
basically, and then 2 beds
There's
on
like a-
either side.
Tackboard
partition
divider
wall.
seeing castles
Yeah.
or in an office cubicle.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
yeah. It's
And then you share a
between the two.
bathroom between
Yeah.
the 2 people.
And
And
you
then
share a
there's
kitchen.
okay,
Yeah.
and there's a kitchen and a lounge, and in each of the apartments there is a washer dryer,
Yeah.
a washing machine, and a tumble
Yeah.
dryer. Which I
Yeah.
was quite impressed with actually. You don't have to go to a laundry; it's right there in your accommodation.
No, it's more convenient than UK university
Yeah.
accommodation.
absolutely. It's a
I'm
really
right, it's
luxurious
across the road.
accommodation. In fairness, it's it
Yeah,
is
that's
good.
pretty good actually. I've seen some
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah.
And then there's a 4x2, which is 4 individual rooms but sharing 2 bathrooms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a bit more
Yeah.
expensive. And
That's
then
the
there's a
bottom of that
4x4, which is 4, and then the 4x4 is 4 en suites, effectively.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of which they have.
Which is
You share a
what I've got.
kitchen and a bathroom,
Yeah.
lounge as well.
Okay.
Okay.
And I think as well, though.
so, yeah.
I think what needs to be pointed out is this is a massive upgrade since they've moved to Flamingo Crossing as well.
Oh yeah, it's
So a lot of
huge
people,
deal.
who previously did the college program, it was very much uni
Yeah.
accommodation. The upgrade that Disney have put in with Flamingo Crossing is a massive upgrade, and it is.
Yeah,
These guys might complain about
it's
it,
still.
but
It's
it is so much better than what was there
No.
before.
In fairness, that might be worth a show in itself when we come back, because there's not a lot of information
Looking at
out
the
there on Flamingo Crossings in the
No.
first place. Very rare
That's a
that
great
actually
idea.
Yeah, Disney don't actually allow many people access to go
Yeah.
and view it. So
And it's
I mean,
quite. I was just going to say, a university in America, it's quite normal for students to share a bedroom, isn't it?
Yeah.
Whereas
Yeah.
in the UK, that is really, really unusual.
That is the worst possible
Doesn't
idea
happen.
for me ever. I don't know who
Absolutely.
got the age of share a room with
I think
me.
that was the first. That was the first
But-
thing me and you said to each other as soon as we came out. It's like, yeah, we're not doing that one.
I love the fact you're
I'm
both on
sharing
the
this
same page.
strange.
We're on the same page. Absolutely.
So this is the thing: you could be with absolutely anyone from anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If
you
you're
can.
sharing
You
Cool,
can
but I want my own
request.
space.
You can request roommates. To be fair, but if you're going on your own
Okay.
and you
Yeah.
didn't know anyone and you went
Yeah.
for a shared accommodation, you could be sharing with someone from Spain, Italy, anywhere. Could be literally anywhere.
Mexico.
Yeah.
Part of the,
Mexico.
Could be anywhere.
education bit.
Yeah.
But you could, if you were in a flat together, there would be two
Hmm.
other people there, and you don't know who they're going to be.
Yeah.
So
No.
they could be Americans, they could be Australians, they could be whoever they are.
Absolutely.
So you're going to meet lots of people from all over
Yeah.
the world, regardless. You know, all the British people on the cultural exchange program for the summer start on the same day, don't you? You're all there in
Yeah.
June, so you'll meet lots of Brits anyway. But you know, I guess it's that's part of the fun, isn't it? You get to meet people from all over.
Absolutely.
I think
Yeah.
it'll be interesting seeing the types of people who get through. I know on the interview day, I know Josh and I both commented on this. There was a clear discrepancy between people. This sounds really quite of me. People who took it seriously and who didn't, in terms
Yeah.
of
Absolutely.
attire, what you wear to an interview.
There were still people that turned up in
Not
jeans and a
trackies.
t-shirt or trackies.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's about maturity, recognizing the
Yeah.
importance, isn't
That's
it? And all plays part.
yeah.
That all plays a part in it, I'm sure. So,
Do you see anyone wear a Spirit jersey? And like Mickey
I think
is.
there was someone wearing
Yeah.
a Spirit
Did anyone
Genuinely, I think there was.
And a lounge
Oh,
fight.
no.
No.
There was somebody who wore like a hoodie though, wasn't
Yeah.
there, with like some sparkles and like some
Yeah.
death metal thing on it. It was really weird.
Sequins.
I
Primark's
actually
finest.
I actually think between the two of these guys, I think once they come back and actually we'll ask the question: did those people actually make it? Because
Yeah, we need to know.
whilst I was sharing lunch in IKEA with them, it was one of those moments where you're just thinking, hang on a minute, you're going for an interview, and in my eyes, if you don't dress appropriately, you don't even register on that sort of short list or even the long list, because actually you haven't taken it in the if you don't turn up dressed as if you're going to do it, how on earth are you going to be dressed appropriately for a day at work? When
I guess that's the playing devil's advocate, John. They're going to be wearing costumes, yeah. So,
Yeah.
But it'd be interesting to know. I think there's so many things to ask afterwards.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
This is going back to a chat we had right at the beginning of the podcast, who's actually eligible to take part. We met a girl on the day, didn't we, Morg? And she'd worked in the Disney store and had left working for the Disney store 3 weeks prior to the interview. And Disney kind of made it clear to her on the day that might have been a problem. She didn't leave notice or anything like that.
Yeah.
Between interviewing again.
So the one thing to remember with Disney is that once you start working for them, you have a clear report card that goes throughout, that they keep on file. So even when you leave,
if you're a minute late, they'll know that in
for
40 years' time. Yeah.
So put it as blankly, you sell them your soul, and they keep a track of you the rest of your career. And if you ever come back to work at Disney, they will see what you've been doing in your cultural program.
That's really interesting, because I've heard other people talk about that. So people like Dan Cockerell, who was president of Magic Kingdom, obviously he started as a parking attendant in the lot of, I think it was Epcot. And he talks about the fact that his report card, for want of a better word, recognises all the shifts that he did, and every time he was late and he didn't have the right shoes on or whatever. And he talks about that in some of his book and his, some of his experiences. It's quite interesting when you think that the organizational memory of you starts now.
Absolutely.
Not to put any, pressure on you.
Certainly,
But
if you want any further career with Disney, then you've always got a record of you, and if
Good
you mess
behave.
up, then
I'm Roz, always watching.
Always watching.
Yeah.
I think that's a really cracking thing to actually take from all this, Claire. And I think this is, I think we shift this a little bit further down the line before you guys go. We will catch up when you come back, and and it'll be after I've been as well. So I think the thing is though, there's a whole lot of stories that are going to come just of what you guys are going to go through, and we're really excited as a show for you to be part of it, and it's going to be it's still the start of the year, and we just know for the rest of 2024 the Christmas Waffle has got so much content that we can actually get out there, because with the two of you, Claire, you're going repeatedly. Ben, obviously, is Benga, drop of a hat.
I'm sure Robin's probably already there.
It's another trip right now.
Yeah, and I'm going back.
Doesn't matter when you're listening, Robin's there.
Yeah, and it's so good because actually I think it makes it so relevant and makes it so real, and it doesn't matter whether you're listening in the UK, listening in America, and wherever we're sharing this, and we're sharing this in a community, certainly on our Facebook community, the Waffler's Arms, a lovely place to go. We will drop some pictures in of these two, just primarily so that it's primarily it is you, isn't it? And you're going to get that moment. I want to know who meets these people. So again, we can point them in the right direction as well. But also, we just want to know that the next part of your journey and any more information might just inspire other people. And that's been the whole point of this show. We know that you might be listening to this 2, 3, 4 years later than when we recorded it, which for us is the most amazing thing to even think about. But if it inspired your journey to go and do something very similar, we would be very, very privileged to actually just even know that ever happened. So do get in touch with us at gpmickeywaffle.com and just send us, press on the contact form, and we'd love to know. We do loads of stuff.
Have you got any questions? I was going to say, if you've got any questions for Josh and Morg.
Absolutely.
I know that we've got our own Disney Instagrams now that we've got. We're going to
we can plug ourselves.
Oh no! There be slippery slope there, Claire, isn't there?
I know.
But I know we're going to try and post the behind the scenes of the behind the scenes, so to speak, on there. So if
you can tell them what the handles are. Both of you tell us.
Yeah. I can't remember my handle.
Do you want your handle, Morg? I think I've got it here, actually.
There you go. Josh will tell you.
I'll tell you, Mark. Morg's is
this is why Josh is here.
Morg's Disney stuff.
Disney stuff.
All lowercase.
All one word.
And
Morg's Disney stuff. There you
go.
You've done yourself a disservice here, mate.
Yeah.
Because actually,
you don't need to do the underscores. It's just Josh 03JL Disney.
Okay.
There you go. Yeah.
That becomes instantly, you should have called yourself something a bit catchy,
Could have done, couldn't I?
Yeah. just saying, like, there you go. But who am I to make judgment on that?
Right.
But yeah, go and check their Instas out. Keep following them. And also, I actually think we'll manage to do something with you guys when it gets closer to the time as well, where we can actually merge certainly some of our output with what you're actually capable of giving us, so that we can actually share with people, because I think it is such an important thing to actually allow people, younger than you, to actually understand that this is an opportunity that's there for you.
Yeah.
And it's not something that, it's not something that you should shy away from. And just, if you're willing to do it, go and fulfill your dream. I'm struggling for a trip report name because I know it has to be something about us going back, but it also has to be something about you being there for the summer. And so it is about fulfillment of dreams from really sort of difficult times. So that's something to really bear in mind. And it's just been an absolute pleasure. I'm just going to say a big thank you to both of you. You've spoken rather eloquently. I think we might need to invite them back, guys. I think that's a problem. It's normally we have people on and they don't get welcome back. So
it's been good to be on, and
sometimes we have people on every week and we don't welcome them back either.
Well, no, hopefully it's inspired some people as well to hopefully give it a go this year. And
no, it will.
Hopefully, it gives some information about the process as well.
Yeah.
Because
and as we have said, if anybody does want any further information,
it's a minefield.
Does anyone?
Yeah, it's a minefield. So if anybody wants to get in touch with people that have been through it, then they're more than welcome to.
The truth, the hard truth, grisly truth about the Disney application process. Josh is the one to go to, not me.
Or better still, send us an email on waffleon@gbmickelwaffle.com, just because we can kind of filter it a little bit.
That could be the 9th website.
Yeah, there you go.
There we are. Yet another website. Yeah.
Oh dear. Wonderful. What a great show. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Claire, for just reminding us that we've missed an opportunity, that these guys are going to go and just have the most incredible time. So until the next time, which will be very quick because it's February, and February's a really short month. So it'll be the 1st of March show that follows on from this. But if you've missed anything that's gone before, you can catch up, download them from a podcast app of choice, watch them on YouTube. And we've also a live Wafflers Wednesday on YouTube every single week at 8:30 UK time. And you can join in for a little bit more of the same kind of stuff. But if it's on YouTube, you can join in the chat as well. And we love people getting in the chat as well. If you want to stay up to date with all things Waffle, follow us. Social media is at GB Mickey Waffle on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Threads, and occasionally on artist formerly known as Twitter. And like I said, I mentioned the email. We love hearing from you guys who listen and watch. And also, we want to inspire future people like Morg and Josh into doing the things that we do, but the things that they're going to go and do. So a massive good luck. We'll catch up with you before you leave the UK. But thank you for joining us.
No, thank you.
There's one thing left to say.
Waffle on.
Now go have an adventure.